The camera is set akimbo. I don't believe I didn't have the camera straight. Hello, 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 anybody out there in YouTube land? Let's see, yeah. Set of rules. Please be over the age, I'll be right there, of 17. And please be kind to one another. There we go. Hello, 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 and happy Sunday. Hello, Lori Ann. Yes, you are here first. At least you're the first one to pop in and say hello. Let's see, let me pop out the chat, put it over on the side of this screen and make that small so that I can see you guys. And hello, hello. And welcome to CLAldridge Art on Sunday. Coriander is up here as usual, being her little cute, adorable self. Hello, Mickey. I'm so happy to see you. And it was great seeing you the other night at Mrs. Coppy's. And my goodness gracious. I have switched out for a daylight light, and I don't think I like it. Thank you, Lorianne. I hope you are too. And I hope that everybody is. I know that the world is, kind of starting to feel the pressure a little bit of being stuck away from each other. But man, I would love to see those numbers starting to get better on a bigger scale. Before I get back out there, you know what I mean? I saw an interesting ad. Actually, it was one of the ads that run on videos, and it was I know you didn't mean to accidentally kill me, but and it started talking about people starting to be incautious and getting a little fed up with being told they have to stay at home. And I completely get that. I'm kind of fed up with it too. But on the other hand, I don't really want to accidentally kill somebody. Hello, Aqua Pleasures, and welcome. And before we get started, I just want to welcome everybody and say hi and all of that. Thank you, Lorianne. I enjoy the heck out of drawing them, so I am glad to hear that you enjoy coloring in them. And I was all set. I had picked out a page from my very first book that we were going to color today, and then a little voice in my head said, Christine, you told everybody that you were going to color from Wayne Anderson's Enchanted Forest last week when I was on. So I figured I would let you all choose. What I was going to do today is whatever project I work on, it'll be with a marker base and colored pencils on top, because I haven't done that for a while. So I don't know how you guys feel about that. Also, how do you feel about this light? Is this light weird, or of course, I haven't pulled up my camera controls to really sort of adjust it, but I put in a daylight light, and since you were 3, but yet your pictures rarely come out well. Yeah, but when you color from my books, they're guaranteed to come out looking beautiful, no matter what. That is a promise that I make. Look, we did, let's see, what book was it? I think it was it this one? No, it was this one. In 40 Fan Favorites, we recently did an 80 marker challenge. And so it was basically, I pulled 80 markers without any kind of paying attention. And to keep myself honest, I had numbered all the spaces in this. And look, it still came out looking good, even though we had, weirdness with the colors. So I'm going to guarantee that if you color from my books, it'll come out looking pretty. After all, I do say color something pretty. Anyway, these are just a few of the things that we have colored. And this was, both of these, this was Inktense, and this was marker, and this was Inktense. This actually is a picture from my book, Fantasy Flower Garden. And we did that with Inktense as well. So it is, I just guarantee it that it'll come out. That's just markers and a little bling. That's just straight coloring, and even if you could say that I used ugly colors, but, I think it came out looking fine. And so it really is, I mean, the idea, now this I did a little hard work on. This was Prismacolor pencils. And so there was quite a bit of, blending and making the gemstones and doing all of that kind of stuff. So this one took a little bit of talent, but for the most part, what I'm doing in what I'm trying to demonstrate is that you don't have to get all fancy with your technique to have a really cool page. Like this one, I did with some of those metallic colors for the gold part, and then that's just straight coloring with CLAart alcohol markers for the rest of it, and then a little bit of white Posca. So you can, oh, but Mickey, actually when they're talking to me, they're supposed to be using caps. See, I adopted that from TBD because that way I can pick out when somebody's talking to each other versus when they're actually talking to me. So yeah, if you're talking to each other, use small case, but if you have a question or you're actually talking to me, then you can put it in caps. Most of us do, Lori. I have trouble with my color selection as well. This was the picture that I wanted to do today. So you guys decide. There's enough of you now that you could vote. We could do either this page, the butterfly and blackberries page from 40 fan favorites, which also, by the way, is in Fantasy Flower. It's in one of these. Or if you wanted me to do a mandala, I could do one from the mandala book. Or I could do one from the very first book that I ever drew, which is this one, Flowers and Flyers. Sorry, Cat. Sorry, Coriander. I just yanked the book out from under her. I could do something from this. This was one that we did with pencils. That was the very first thing I ever drew, is this page. It's the very first thing. And then, of course, I started this one. Hello, Gary, and hello, Fern, and hello to all the people who have come in. And yes, Lori, you are. You're supposed to capitalize when you're talking to me. So you're fine. You are absolutely golden. This one that even I say is ugly, but still it just shows what's possible. We did this just with the tip of, this was water-based markers, the cheap $10 kind that you get from, $10 for like 60 colors. And we did this whole one, with just pointillism and, little dots and stuff like that. So and here's one that was a save. This was, I started this with markers, and I had started it with the background, and it was horrible. Absolutely horrible. I had just gotten my Neo colors, and I did not know what to do. And I think it was Zarget Hunter, who told me that I could blend colors with other mediums. And so that's what I did. And it turned into this sort of cool variegated background. And then I used that as the inspiration for the colors that I used in this. So Jill, what this one was my very first, yeah, this was my very first book that I released, Flowers and Dreams. And this came out in early 2016, I think. Wait, early 2017. Wow. Really? Okay. Yeah, this one came out in January of 2000. Oh, wait. No, you know what? The original one came out in 2016. Mrs. Coffee, thank you so much, honey. And thank you for the super chat. What a sweet thing to do. And welcome, welcome. And great show this weekend. It was Friday night, right? Right? Tell me it was Friday night. I honestly have no clue as to what day it is at all anymore. And anyway, for those of you who don't know, Mrs. As if there's anybody that doesn't know, Crafting with Mrs. Crochet and Coffee is not only a wildly entertaining channel. She does beautiful diamond painting work, and then just talks about her family and the happenings of probably all of the madness that go on in all of our lives, but in a way that makes everybody feel welcome. And so I really like that about your channel, Mrs. Copy, and am a happy subscriber. Also, I'm still addicted to the Posh Paper Lady, Sherry, and just, oh my goodness, she's just so talented with paper products. Your vote is Mandala, Daryl Lynn. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and show that. It held that, and I don't know why, but I cleared it. Okay, so I've got to vote for mandalas, and then of course we have what I said I'd do, which is Wayne Anderson's Enchanted Forest, which is one of these Pictura books. Now I could do a series on this, so I want to leave it up to you guys, and I could just pick a mandala from here, or I could pick one from any one of the books, because these, of course, all came from all the other books. And yes, thank you. Exactly. And thank you. That is never required, but always delightful when somebody super chats or PayPal tips or does anything like that. I've done a few in here. I usually do these with a little bit of a background. Oops, it looks like I've left autofocus on. Shame on me. I usually turn that off by now. The dragonfly mandala. Let's see here. Where was that? That one. Oh, this one. I can do this one. We haven't done this one. I don't think I've ever done this one on film. I've colored it before in the original book, but I haven't colored it on video. So I can do that. We can do that. I really just want to show anybody who might be new to my channel the series of books and all of that. And Jill, I know I had said that I would color in this, and I will, but maybe not today, although I could. I will say that my mandalas book, of all these books, this one, because it is the oldest, has sold the most, obviously. And the others do quite well. This is the most recent book. This is the newest. There are 12 altogether, including a travel size book. And they're all on Amazon or Book Depository or Abe's Books or wherever even Barnes & Noble will have them, not in the store, but online. and all of that. But this one here, if I'd have known how popular this book would be, I'm just so delighted that people like it and that it has done so well all over the world. People, you'll hear all the time, oh, I don't like coloring mandalas, but people do like coloring mandalas. And I have the evidence to prove it. Now, they might not like coloring only mandalas, but they do, in fact, like them. I've always loved this one. I had such fun drawing that one. But this one is a little tedious to color if you don't, if you, I get that, but that is also one of the appeals. So let's do this one. We can do a marker base with Prismacolors, or we can just do straight colored pencils. What would you guys prefer on that? And then I promise we will get to coloring. And I am still saying hi to people. I'm looking at the folks that may be here. Lori Ann, Mrs. Coffee, Gary, Daryl Lynn. Hi this week. So please know that I did see that I missed saying hi. And, okay, we'll get started here. And to all of the people who are lurking or who may not have said hello yet, or who may not be subscribed to YouTube at all, but rather are just watchers, welcome. And Katrina, hello. It is so lovely to see you. And marker base, okay. We can do marker base. Marker base with pencils. I am getting that. Okay. All right. So now the markers that I have are the CLAarts, and I do have the 100 set, thanks to the wonderful Melinda. And I have a few of them out because remember what we were, where it is, what we were working on last week from Layla Dooley. I have got this, I switched over to the CLAart markers in part 2. Part 2 is up, by the way. And I got as far as over here, but then I just started putting in the honeysuckle. So that's what these are. And that's why I've got some of the CLAarts out, so I know what colors they are. But let's hope that those are not the ones I use. And also this week, I am working on a new drawing. It's not quite done yet. It's a lot closer than it was when the last time I showed it to you. And my drawing muse has just been on a little hiatus, but she's coming back. And this needs some details. Really what was happening is that, remember that last one I did that was so detailed, it had a lot more black? I want to put that in this too, because I have another use for it beside coloring. So I'm working on that. And that's where we are. Okay, so quit dithering, Christine, and just get after it. How about we do that? Hello, Shara, my dear. Shara, of course, also has a coloring channel. And if you are one of those people that has a channel or a coloring channel, I will try and point you out. Mickey Sunshine Creates coloring and diamond painting. And I know that we've got, of course, Mrs. Coffee and Shara, adult coloring with Shara. And generally you can pick us out, those of us that have channels, because our names will be something other than, than Sally Smith or whatever. It'll usually say crafting or coloring or, Christine, shut up and color, for heaven's sakes. Let's see here. I can't color without my swatch book. And I'm looking to find it. There it is. All right, CLAldridge Art markers. All right, so we've got wings, and I want those wings to be fairly light. So I'm going to go with a base on the wings of Anise, which is 902, which is, I believe, here. So let's just get a little bit of this base stuff in. Now, this is a very light, sort of chartreusey type green. And you can put other colors over it. When I am coloring with a marker base, I'm usually going with a very, very light color, and then I'm going to use pencils for the darker colors. But this helps me to establish a baseline of light color underneath the whole thing. And I'll leave parts of this showing through when I put pencil on top of it. So now this looks a little yellow on my screen. I don't know if it's reading yellow to you guys or not. I'm going to hope that this daylight light is actually going to reflect true color, which was why I bought it to begin with. I will tell you that for me, it's a blue light, and my eyes don't like blue light. So, but if it works for the camera, that's absolutely better. So, all right, so there's that. And then I'm also going to put a layer of very, very light warm gray underneath the dragonfly body, because he's going to be grays and blacks and all of that. But I want to use the warm gray to establish a light source. So warm gray, warm gray. It is WG, and it never looks like what I think it looks like. So there it is, WG01. So that is why I do that. And I can go over the entire thing, all the little doodads and decorations, because with this being a very light shade when it dries, it won't hamper in any way putting a darker color over it to pick out those little details. So that is why. So how are you all handling all of this? Would you please show how to use the chisel tip? You make it look so easy. Okay, yeah, absolutely. Well, the first thing I do is I usually only use it on wide spaces, Daryl Lynn. If I'm going to get into a tight space, then I am absolutely going to be using the smaller nib. But I use the chisel because it's, let me pick one that you could actually, well, let's see. Let's pull up the camera controls and do a little zooming. And that means I have to mess with the focus a little bit. Well, it's usually right about there. Okay. So the chisel is I use, see that very tippy tip point, and then if you turn it this way, you can see that it's like shaved off a little bit on both sides. And so basically I use that shaved off portion and just drag it like that, and that creates a nice even line. So let's do something that's big like the blue. And I'll use a hint of blue, which is the B201, because this is water underneath this dragonfly. So let me find the B201. Yeah, the B201 is what I want. I had a wild thought that I would use something else, but I was going to use a blue-gray, but okay, so here is the chisel tip, and it's got that, maybe you can see it. I just don't know that you can see it. But when you look at your chisel tip under a light, study its shape for all the different surfaces that you've got there. And then, like if you do, you can just pull it down like this. Now, one of the things that I do is I only go in one direction. I don't do this when I color. I only go in one direction. And of course, if you are foolish like I am, and you forget to protect the page underneath, then you will generally ruin your underneath picture as well. There's never been an alcohol marker made that will not bleed through all paper. And then I use the point. Okay, so I've still got the point, and I can get little narrow spots with that point. So I can get right into little tight spots just by using the point. So I'm actually holding it in my hand so that the narrow part of the chisel is touching the paper. And you can go right around stuff. And the other thing is don't leave the marker on the page too long. And the reason, of course, is because the ink will start to soak out of the through the paper, because it's got no other place to go. You've got plastic underneath it. Now, one of the things that will help is if you, in addition to your plastic, if you also put paper under it, because then the ink has somewhere to go. So if you want to get rid of streakiness, you go over it several times without it spreading that way. It'll spread down into what's underneath. Does that make any sense? Because the ink's got to have somewhere to go, or the alcohol's got to have somewhere to go. So you just, you use the tip just exactly like it was a fine tip. On its side. Excuse me. And let me grab a sip of coffee here. Oh, well, heck, that's not warm. I forgot to turn the burner on the coffee warmer. Oh no, disaster. So you can do it. Hang on 1 second. Ooh. Sorry, I don't know where that came from. Other than the fact that we've been having the weirdest weather. It is raining one day, gorgeous and sunny the next. So yeah, you just, sorry, you just come along the line, and as long as you keep it moving, and you're careful around your sides, then you can cover big swaths of area. Now it works in an area like this because this is water, and so it's going to be kind of I want it to be sort of streaky and not quite even, so it gives a little more of an impression of actual water. Now, when you want to just go wide spaces, you just turn it over to the wide part. You got yourself one of the desktop warmers. When you're not drinking tea for wax warmer, oh wow, that's terrific. What a great idea. I tell you what, this baby was one of the best things. And it was Susie at Susie's Coloring Cottage that sent me this. And as you can see, it's coming up right now. It'll settle at about 180. But it is just terrific. And it comes with this metal cup, and it goes on there. And it keeps your coffee hot all day long. The only time I ever use it is on show day. So, because otherwise I can just get up and walk to the microwave. But on show day, it's like if I want to heat my coffee 14 times, because I get to yakking away, or I'll get to doing something on the computer, and the next thing I know, my coffee is cold. All right, I'll just do the inside, and then we'll do the butterfly, or do the dragonfly. Whoops. And it'll stay, because I'm putting a lot of ink on to demonstrate this, it'll show, or it'll stay wet for quite a while. So you just have to be patient, and it'll dry out. Yeah, I've never been able to color like that. The back and forth kind of thing. It's always got to be one direction for me. Sorry. So I looked out my door, my patio door, in my office. I've got a patio that goes out to the backyard, or out to the back deck, and there's a dog standing there looking at me, and I'm like, that how many people remember that joke from the Pink Panther, or Peter Sellers, and one of Peter Sellers' movies. And the guy says, "Does your dog bite?" And Peter Sellers says no, and the dog bites the guy. And the guy looks at him and says, "I thought you said your dog didn't bite." He said, "My dog doesn't. That's not my dog." So, at any rate, so that's the way I felt. I looked outside, and here's this. It's a beautiful brindle pit bull, and it belongs to the neighbors, and it has dug its way under my fence, and so I believe I heard him out there fixing that issue this afternoon. But it was pretty funny because I couldn't figure out why Coriander was hissing. It's like, what, she doesn't usually do that unless it's another cat. But she was just hissing at something, and it was this dog. In the end, the dog's trying to be friendly. It's kind of looking at her through the window and saying, "What? Why are you being so mean to me?" Coming around that little corner, I'm not quite as confident going that direction, so I will. I went to the little chisel, or the little tip for that. But, and now, yeah, see, I've got it turned again so that it's the little tip, and you can make a narrow line or a wide line, just depending upon how you turn it in your hand. All right, so that's enough of the markers. Let's grab out our beautiful Prismacolor pencils. Put our little markers back. I'm going to move that. Whoops. Grab the box of Prismacolors. Oh, hang on. There we go. Oh, coriander. I do apologize, honey, but this is where you're going to have to move. Yeah, well, maybe not. All right. Maybe we'll put the Prismacolors over here. Excuse me. Okay, so what do we need for our dragonfly wings? We need some blues. Whoops. I absolutely cannot. All right. I've got my keyboard underneath the thing, and I'm a little worried that it's going to fall and cut me off. All I need is for it to land on the keyboard and have it press. I had the cat do that the other day. She walked over the top of the keyboard and logged me out of my computer, or locked something up. I don't remember exactly what it was. Let's grab some blues. We definitely want some blue greens. Let's see here. What color is that? That is the peacock blue. I like that. And let's try, let's try the pale green. We'll try the pale green and we'll try the aqua as well. So let's try a little bit of the pale green. Now let me zoom you down again. Hopefully the focus is okay. So let's see how this looks. Now, obviously, we don't, I'm just trying to get a feel for it right now, for where we want things to go. Because I want these to be blues and greens. And I realize that you can hardly see that. So let me go to a color that you can see a little bit better. And we'll go for that. So I'm starting out, I'm a little bit darker here at the, where it gathers near its body, near its thorax. And then I'm lightening up at the end of the stroke so that it just comes a little bit lighter. I was watching Sammy right before I came on, which is probably one of the reasons why I was a little late, because, I do get carried, I do get carried away by somebody with as much talent as she has. And the things she's doing for the woodland, woodland creatures is an absolutely, I mean, just the way that she's colored that bird on top of the, on top of the head of that little child is just, oh my goodness. Like, what is your artist vision that you see that? Because I can't do that. She can't draw and I can't color. So, although she probably can draw, she just hasn't drawn that I know of. But I think she is practicing. So I'm just doing and then lightening up as I get out to the edge. I'm not, I decided that I don't want to do individual, I don't want to do the individual cells. I think that would be overkill. I think that just um, doing it this way is better. And just lightening up as I get out here toward the edges. And then I can put another shade in. So still using the same pencil, but the only thing I'm doing is varying the weight or the pressure that I'm putting on the page as I'm bringing it out. And again, I'm only going in one direction. I'm a stroke colorist, so I like to color with strokes, and I like to usually only go in one direction. So then I could add a little bit of this green in. But see how that marker base makes it so that it's so much easier and nicer to because it's like it leaves a base glow underneath. Well, hiya, Kathy. How are you? And hello to all. Let's see who else. Wait, Shannon gave you a Scentsy wax. Ooh, those are supposed to be beautiful. Excuse me. Those are supposed to smell really wonderful. You bought a cheap Mr. Coffee one for $8. That's the coffee warmer, right? I'll tell you what, they have great products. They really do. They really do. I'm sure that this one was probably overpriced, but I surely thank Susie for sending it. It was Christmas a couple of years ago. Okay. So now we can use let's pick an even lighter sort of chartreuse. And so we'll pick that to go over. I think it'll just dull that yellow down. We can add some more colors into that as well. But you can even bring this all the way up to the other colors and just go over it and see how it's just very subtly changes the way that those look. At least I hope you can see that. I know that on my, I was surprised when I did a recent pre-recorded video, and I was just convinced that it was terrible, that it looked terrible because I could only see it inside my editor window, which doesn't have a very big screen. But then when I was able to play it on YouTube at the full screen size, it was like, oh, that was nice. It looked really good. Dragonflies looking awesome, Christine. Thanks, Gary. The other thing I did want to say, just in case there is still a person left on Earth that doesn't know about this, there is a channel called The Show Must Go On, and it is set up as a fundraiser for the actors, the Broadway actors who are out of work because, of course, all of the London theater, all the theaters, the live theater around the world is closed down. So Andrew Lloyd Webber, who, God bless his soul, is the most wonderful composer of our day, modern composer of our day, of this kind of thing, has made as many of his musicals as have been committed to film available for free for 48 hours, for 48 hours each weekend. And now I know that it varies, that the hours vary dependent upon where in the world it is. Whether sometimes it's only available for 24 hours, sometimes it's only available, but for 40, it's available for all 48. This weekend, and it's over now, but this weekend was Phantom of the Opera. Last weekend was Jesus Christ Superstar. The week before that was Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat. And next week, I don't know what it'd be. Hopefully, it'll be Cats or or something else worthy of seeing. I've lost track of how many he's done. So if you are not a subscriber to The Show Must Go On, but you do love the live live musicals, it's just a fantastic opportunity. And they literally raised $380,000 just this weekend. So that is because, and it's spread out a lot of different places, including the actors. They've got donations to NHS and all your local areas, all of that kind of stuff. So I just thought it was wonderful, a wonderful way to remember the artists who, of course, and none of us has had much choice if we've lost a job through this thing. So, all right, so that is, you get the idea with the wings, and I'll slowly bring the color out a little further, probably just leave the tips or the edges of the wings, the darker green. And as long as you're using light strokes and you're layering, which I know a lot of people don't like to do, but if you do like to layer, then you just do that. And this is Amazon paper, guys. And these are Prismacolor pencils. So you see they take it just fine. So, of course, I think we dispelled that rumor a long time ago, didn't we? That you can't use Prismacolors in Amazon paper. Of course you can. But a marker base helps. And then if we really want to get fancy with this, you can take a colorless blender like this, or the white. And as a matter of fact, we could do it with the white, or we should probably do it with we'll just do it with this dark or this lightest shade. And that's how I'm blending it all together. So let's see here. Let's sure there's something else that happened this week. Oh, I got my very first Walmart grocery delivery. I am hooked. I am absolutely hooked. That is the most convenient thing I have ever seen. Doorbell rings. I go outside. On the front porch are like 8 bags of things that I ordered. It's all bagged properly. You get to check in your order, and if your order is correct, then you can go online and tip the driver. You never have to see them. You never have to all of that. And that is just my speed as far as stuff like that goes. I could continue on with tweaking this, but I want to do a bit on the body first. So, because I don't know quite how I want to do this. So I am going to grab turquoise, the dark green and the turquoise. And the reason why I have these, 2 reasons. One is I also want to add a little bit of turquoise in here, but I also, because black, you know, how it reflects greens. Now it actually reflects the chartreuse. So I am going to run a line of chartreuse all the way down one side of my little dragonfly. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but there it is. They don't deliver there. You have to pick up when you shop online and go to the store. Yes, that is of course the other option. Now I ended up having to deliver groceries or have groceries delivered because I went outside and my car battery is dead. And in addition to that, the fuel that's actually in the car is from this winter. I last filled it up before Christmas, which tells you that I don't really go I don't really go very much. And so the gas in it is getting old. So I need to actually connect with my neighbor who has both a one of those jumper things. I used to have one, but I don't have it anymore. And a gas can. And then I can walk up to the 7-Eleven and get some gas, so that I can put a little bit in on top of what's already there. Because if I try to, because it's quite nearly dry now, and so if I try to start it with gas that's that old in it, it's going to clog up the fuel injectors. Thank you. And you might want to ask me how I know that. All right, I'm looking for my blacks and my grays here. All right, let's try the black. So this is, of course, going to be black, but I am not going to color it solidly black. It's going to be just a hint of black. Okay, so like that down one side. And hi, Rain. Rain chains for less. Hello, this is your first time here. Okay, good. Well, welcome in that case. I don't know what rain chains are. I know what snow chains are. What are rain chains? All right, so I'm also doing that a little darker toward the, toward the edge, the outer edge, this one, and then just sort of bringing it in a little lightly in here, just to give it a hint that it's either a black or a brown body. Because whereas white is the absence of color, black is the presence of all color. So it can therefore be any color you want. So I'm going to get in there a little bit darker and just keep bringing that, bringing it up. What I don't want to do is I don't want to entirely cover up those decoration lines with it getting it so dark, because I want to be able to access those with my gold, because I'm going to do that in gold, I think. And we can do the same thing here. And actually, this will be a better chance to see. Grab that chartreuse again, because we can add some chartreuse here, just a spot on his head. And then take the green. Is that the green? No, of course not. That's not the green. This is the green. So we'll take the green, sort of go around that spot. You can even go over it a little bit, because that's going to be like the reflection or the light hitting the head of our little guy here. And the head, it's okay. Let's see here. Let's go with a little bit of gray. Yeah, no, we'll go with gray. We'll go with the 20% cool gray here. Just to get a little color in there. Go out here. And I can actually add some details in on this with Posca. I'm just sort of getting a feel for exactly how I want to do this. Do I want to do it all the way black, or? And of course, I could have made it a color, which probably would have been more interesting, because I went off into, into sort of realism. But I was thinking that we could definitely. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my cobalt turquoise, and I'm going to go over that. So both of those, the light and the dark colors, with the cobalt turquoise. And I'm not worrying that I'm getting a little bit inside of those little embellishments. And I just gotten done saying that I never color like this with the little circles, but that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm coloring with the little circles, and now I've got the light gray as sort of a blender to blend all of that together, even over the tops of the little things. See how it still leaves a light spot down the center of its spine so that it looks like there's light catching it? Ooh, I like the effect on that. Oh, Gary, okay. Thank you, my dear. See you later. See you later, alligator. It's amazing what you can do with just one little light, one lighter shade. Doesn't have to be a white or or an official blending pencil. I have one, but it's like, why worry about that when you can just use a lighter shade of what you've already got. Am I crazy, or did that turn out looking pretty good? I think it turned out looking okay. I could be wrong. I always feel like a painter when I get to this point, because everything I've done up to this point has been, sort of setting it up for this final blend. All right, and so now let's see what we can do about blending these together. And this time I've got the gray green light. And I'm just going obviously over the whole thing, because this won't change any of the colors. It'll just allow them to blend together. Gosh, I hope this plays on the camera as well as it does here. kind of looks amazing. I impressed myself. Yeah, I kind of like the way. I just really like the depth of the blue green, the sheen, like a wing, like a raven's wing. I'm gonna have to remember that if I ever color a black bird. Okay, enough about me. Let's see. Okay, so we'll put some of those away, but we still want to. I think I still want to leave the. Yeah, I do. I still want to leave the. Maybe not. Maybe we're gonna get really interesting here and go with a. Let's go with a potato brown for. He's can hear you guys going. You're gonna go with a what? Just trying to put some pencils away here, find their places. Yeah, just remember that we're doing a marker base. So I want to use potato brown. If I remember what color potato brown is, I think it is this Y648. What is Y648? Y648 is the praline. Yeah, that'll do. The praline is actually probably a better choice for dirt. So we'll. You feel like you could hold out your hanger. Oh, well, I don't know that it's that good, but and I'm not nearly as thrilled with the wings as I am with the way the body came out. But then we are all our own worst critics. Okay, so now I do have the narrow end, or the nib, And I am doing this. And the reason why I'm doing this brown, this is the praline brown, so it's not going to have a lot of shading or anything like that. I'm doing it A, because it's quick, and B, because it's representing the dirt from which, in my little artist mind, it's representing the dirt in which all of these plants and flowers are growing around our little lake where our butterfly is flitting. So what I'm doing pretty much anytime that I color, and I don't know, am I the only one that does this? I tell myself a story about what is going on here. So the butterfly, or the dragonfly, is just out for a lazy little, fly around, and he encounters this pretty lake where there's these pretty flowers that grow around it. So maybe off in the distance, he sees some other dragonflies, and who knows, maybe later on this dragonfly will turn into somebody's lunch. Maybe a frog lives in the in the pond, and he's hiding under a lily pad. But for right now, he's just enjoying his life. Anyway, how is everybody liking this woodland colorathon that's going on? I think that is so cool when channels get together and do that. Okay, there we go. Now, I will add a little bit of, just because I want to right now, although it may end up getting wiped off by the time I'm done. I do want to just add a little dot to his little eyeballs, although I don't think I did that I don't think I executed that very well. Oh well. And who knows, maybe there's just a very light, just the lightest of light places where the light is actually, white as it's catching our little dragonfly there. Kind of tapping that down. We can always rub it off later if we don't like it. Be amazed what you can do with an eraser. Right. Okay, so now we need some green, and we want to use just I don't think I need a marker base on this, although, yeah, I probably do. Let's grab is 804 a good, yeah, 804 is a good marker base for green. Oh, heck no, we're not doing that. The other reason, Daryl, that I use the chisel tip a lot is because it's so tedious to, and I'm pretty good with it, so I, notice that I am sort of going into the corners. But if you're not, then use the finer tip. And also, if the gentler you are on your nibs, in other words, if you're not pressing down super hard, the longer they will last. But they can be replaced. You can replace the nib in a marker. Just grab a pair of pliers and pull it out. And I happen to know, because I've got one, if you noticed if you were one of the people that actually watched part 2 of last week's video, where we colored the Layla Dooley flower, there's a point in that video where my CalArt comes apart, and I get a look at the inside of one of them at the cartridge, there is just no reason why these couldn't be refilled. None whatsoever. None. All you need is the ink. And the nibs just pull right out. So there's no reason why you couldn't replace those. So the idea that a CLAart isn't refillable is nonsense. They don't advertise them that way, but they can be refilled. It's because they want to sell you a whole new set. But they don't make ink. So you'd have to buy somebody else's ink. But, it's kind of like, yeah, okay. I don't think it's a special formula. You could even make ink. Actually, there are a ton of videos on how to make alcohol ink. Okay. So now I am going to use this dark green and just come up from the base of these. Because the base of any kind of leaf is darker. And I'll just lighten, just really lightly as I get out toward the end, just start releasing the pressure as I come on the upstroke, and that just fades it out. So there's a nice smooth transition from the dark to the light, especially with the marker base. So you don't have to do much more than that if you don't want to. And I can add some other colors into this blue. So if I wanted to, on the you know what I'm talking about, on this water, it's called Water Christine. Tabra, hello and welcome. Nice to see you, my dear. And welcome. So you could add, you could just do little spots of a darker color, kind of add a little interest to your water. Oh, right over the marker. Maybe there's some dark spots around the edges. So you could do that. And notice how I'm laying the side of the pencil over and holding it way back here. That is so that I can have a nice light touch as I am just, laying a little bit of color around, say, one of the areas. So if you wanted it to be dark on one side, but lighter on the other, you could do that. There's really no end to what you could do. And now I'm just fading it out even further, just lightening and lightening and lightening the touch until I can, it's barely touching the page. And that way you just are ensured such a lovely, smooth transition from one, like a gradient as it goes over. And if you want to add other colors here, you can. There is, here is this is the lime peel. So if I wanted to use the lime peel to be like a transitioning color, I could do that. Now this looks really good. Oh, yeah, it looks good on camera too. Okay. At least it does on my screen. So I'll do that. I do apologize, everybody. You know that I end up, I just automatically click over into teaching mode. And I know sometimes, that you're looking for entertainer mode, and I haven't quite got the, the consistency on entertainer mode. I always end up back in teacher mode. Uh, Plus, remember, I am essentially sitting here talking to myself. Because other than you guys writing, I can't talk. I can't hear you. Mm. Oh, that is so good now that it's hot. Yay. Oh, yay. Mm. Sorry about that. Oh my goodness, it is 3:21 already. How is that possible? Can somebody tell me how the time manages to fly? Oh, heck, I was just talking to somebody the other day, and it was 2 years since the last time I talked to them, and it had seemed like it had just been, not really that long ago. And then I looked at our email, at the last email between us, and it was dated 2 years earlier. It was like, oh my goodness, time is just a monster. And the older we get, the harder it gets. Okay, now we decided that that was a good color, but wait. Let's see if we can pull some yellow in here too. And I'm only going to do these three, or maybe even just these two, and then I'll do some flowers as well, because I don't want us to run out of time before I at least show you the base of what I would do for this. I didn't do as good a job on that one as I did on this one. So I'll probably go back and add some more. I don't think I added the line peel to this one, actually. This is such a good color, the lime peel in this. So did anybody do anything? I mean, have you begun doing anything differently than you did before? I mean, obviously, we're all sort of living differently, but like, for instance, I'd never made, well, in my adult life, as a child, I used to make applesauce all the time because we had an orchard next door where I grew up. But as an adult, I never made it. And so the other part of the thing I had to do when ordering from Wally World to get groceries delivered is you have to have a certain minimum, and I can usually never afford it. But thanks to them not letting stuff get shut off during this crisis, I bit the bullet and spent it. So the But when I bought a bag of apples, that's the long way of telling you that I bought a bag of apples and a bag. I bought a big thing of flour and all kinds of stuff. So I've been baking biscuits, and I baked banana bread, and uh, I baked bread, and I baked an apple crisp, and I made applesauce, and I've been throwing it in a Ziploc container, Ziploc containers, the plastic one, and putting it in the freezer. So, I, I bought things I normally are like a little splurgy, like apples out of season, because it's not really apple season here in the United States at any rate. Yeah, okay, so I did those three, and all three look a little different. So let's do some flowers. Anybody have any particular color they love for flowers? Yeah, Mickey, me too. Me too. I realized the other day as I got in my car and looked, because I looked at, how many miles are on it. I bought that car brand new off the dealership, literally off the dealership floor. It was the model inside, uh, in 2008, and I have yet to put 10,000 miles on it, which for an American is like, oh my goodness, because I mean, I used to put 1,000 miles on a car in a week, or maybe not a week, but yeah, a week. Man, maybe 2 weeks. So, not watching color videos. We're now watching a ton of new DVDs and Blu-rays that your husband always buys to watch, and then they just sit there. I got a couple of those as well. As far as, I mean, that just sit there. Among them is my Phantom of the Opera. Oh gosh, it was so good, guys. I watched it twice. I watched it on Friday. I watched the premiere, and then I also watched it just before I was watching Sammy. It is sort of astonishing, Kathy. I was really shocked when I realized I calculated how long that actually is. Let's see, 2008, 2020. Uh-oh. That's like, what, 12 years right there. Uh, and I have not yet rolled 1,000, or not yet rolled 10,000 miles. It's at 9,427. Oh, yeah. Oh, Tamara, this weekend, yeah. It was this weekend, the live performance, the 25th anniversary live performance was free on YouTube on The Show Must Go On. But if you subscribe to that channel, uh, uh, you can catch whatever it is going to be next week. So he's doing it every Friday. I don't know if Phantom. I don't think Phantom was the last one. Uh, yeah, it's called The Show Must Go On, and yeah, well, yeah, and it's a Saturn Sky. So it's they don't even make it anymore. So it's the little two-seat ragtop convertible. I love it. I absolutely love it. But it's wholly impractical for doing anything other than, just sort of running around yourself in. If you had a guest, you couldn't even take it to go for a weekend trip because there'd be nowhere to put you and your luggage. Because it's not like there's a trunk in the thing. Well, there is a trunk, but it's where the top is if you've got the top down. So you could either have, oh, and the luggage would have to only be this wide. Anyway, okay. So let's figure out a color for these. I think I will make it, let's, pink or yellow. You guys, first person to teal. Teal. Okay, teal will work. Teal flowers, really? I don't want to do teal flowers. Let's do yellow flowers. Sorry, Welfooey. Pink, okay. Yeah, pink will work. Okay. Pinkalicious. We'll do some pink flowers. We'll pick a nice pale cherry pink for our base. We grab the CLAarts. Oh dear. Oh, wait. Yeah. All right, let's do that. No. Let's do the fruit pink. 302. 302, 302, 302. Oh, hello, 302. There's 301. What's 301? 301 is blush. I don't want blush. I want 302. There it is. Okay, so now we're going to, and we are going to just go straight over the little lines because I can make those a darker color, and that way I can use the chisel tip. I didn't even think about that chisel tip thing. You know, I guess I do use it a lot. And that's just probably why I'm so comfortable with it. Now, obviously, if I was going to try and avoid those little doohickeys, I would be using the other tip, but I drew it and I call them doohickeys. Hello. Those are leaves, Christy. Those are just little petals. Little artist decorations. Considering that these flowers have gemstones in the middle and not regular centers. Because you know me, everything has to have gemstones in it. Excuse me, and we'll do 3 of these as well. Because 3 is a good number. Hang on, I'm not looking at chat just this moment. Just trying to get this part done quickly. Okay, there we go. Okay. Yeah, me automatically in teaching mode. As always. Okay, so I also commented to somebody the other day, you know, I'm still that way, that if you ask me what time it is, I'm actually probably going to tell you how to make a clock. Okay. Okay, so now what I want are some pinks. I want the process red, because that is a hot pink. Ooh, I like the mulberry. Yep, I do. And perhaps the actual, wait, no. Yeah, I think so. I think the pink. All right, let's see what we can do with these. Let us see what we can do with these. I am going to choose to use, I'm going to choose a color on the outside of these. And maybe only on one side. Just trying to decide how I want these to look. So that is the mid-range. And this one is the lighter. So maybe yeah, we need a yellow in here. Sorry, I need a taxi cab yellow. I need a yellow. Let's see here. Oh, my beloved Spanish orange. I just use this. I use the heck out of this. Yeah, see, that's what I wanted. I wanted to add a little bit of that in. Yeah, I like that. See, so it's darker pink over here, but it fades into sort of this more orangey color, which I really think makes it so much interesting to look at. But that's just me. All right, so let's try it again over here and see if once it's all done, we can get a whole one done. It'll give you a chance to see what I see as far as the way that it will eventually turn out. Even though I've got that marker base, I am sort of covering it all up, aren't I? All right, now use my yellow. And it doesn't all have to, they don't all have to be exactly the same. And notice how I'm using the yellow to just also kind of go over those light leaves where I've left them, these ones around here. And I also think that that does sort of add a bit of visual definition in there. Just a little bit darker there. Oh yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Okay. That is a good color combo. That one is right up my tree. Right up my tree. I like these, I like jewel tones. I like fiesta colors. Uh, the chartreuses, the pinks, the tangerines, all of that. Not as things or clothing, but I just like the color combination. I like it in flowers. That's what I like. Oh, speaking of which, guys, if you are, for those of you like, I know Barb Zinger knows, because I think she follows Sue Curry Art on Facebook, but Sue's mother uh, hybrided and patented a number of, she basically created a number of rose varieties. And Sue, for a while, ran her mother's nursery after her mom passed away. And excuse me. So she still has cuttings, or she has all of these absolutely fantastic roses that she grows wherever she lives. She always takes cuttings with her if she moves. And her roses are in full production, or right now, in California, and they are just stunning. I mean, she's got a different bouquet on her desk, and she's sharing the pictures. Seems like every single day. She gives a ton away to all the neighbors are invited to come cut their own roses out of her yard, cut a bouquet of roses, and they're just gorgeous. Yeah, I kind of like this. I like this. I like this combination. Wait. Make sure I actually execute it properly. So like maybe this one doesn't have any of the yellow. Maybe it is just the pinks. No, it's got to have some yellow, but maybe not quite as much. My Spanish orange and my chartreuse. I mean, look at my chartreuse. You can tell how much I use that sucker. And my Spanish orange is it's getting there too. It's getting a little short because I love it. And so you just sort of go around, and I think that is a great color for this. And yeah, oh, good, Barb. Yeah, see, you have been watching as well. I thought you were probably a follower of Sue's. And she is such a sweetheart. And she is married. She is married to the most interesting man. I'm telling you. Ed is a wild man. Okay. So now maybe we'll throw a little bit in back over here too, because the light is changing as we're going around our little circle. And we're gonna make I don't know what color we're gonna make the center there. It'll probably be either green or some variation thereof. So maybe on this one, we'll make both sides dark and come up here and maybe make this the lightest pink. And then we can add the yellow in here. Excuse me. Okay. Yeah. At this point in time, I'm fighting both glare and the cat. She's like right there, and she's starting to push on the book. So, ooh, sorry about that. I didn't mean to interrupt the flow. Now, oh, I know what okay. So you're seeing how I'm doing this, right? But I did want to also show you a very cool product in case you don't have it. It's cheap, it's cheerful, and you're going to love it. And it is, get it out. It is, and you probably all already have it. It is the hologram paint. Ooh. I love this stuff. Absolutely love this stuff. Now, I'm gonna since I'm working outside, I can do this for you, but I'm just shaking it up right now, and I'm going to take a brush that I do not particularly, that is not one of my good brushes. Yeah, this one is my, I do not want to do this with one of my good watercolor brushes. But this is what I do. It's in the cap. Now you can do this with any kind of medium. My understanding is that Winsor & Newton makes what's called an iridescent medium or whatever. Or you could do it with Wink of Stella if you have Wink of Stella. I don't happen to have any. So I am going to do it with this. And you will get to see it here in a second. This is just the Art Deco brand, or actually, it's an Art Deco. I'll tell you guys in a minute. I'll bring the model back out in case you don't have it or haven't seen it. Oops. It's available at Walmart. I think it's under $2 for a whatever size. I think this is a 4-ounce bottle. I could be wrong, but we'll look at that too. I like Wink of Stella, but geez Louise, it's so expensive. And since I don't have any, I will do this. See, and it's green. It's blue and green too. The way. How cool is that? I love the fact that it is, and of course, it does reflect green. So that's why it works in this particular this particular application, that it doesn't work in a lot of others. Okay, it's the Folk Art Extreme Glitter number 2796E hologram. It's made by CLAd, and this is the 2 fluid ounce bottle. They make it in a bigger size too. I would not suggest getting the bigger size because I'm going to be the rest of my life using this size. So yeah. So anyway, I am obviously I'm not the first to use that. There are lots and lots of people who do. Okay. So now let me put that back. And I need to go let me go throw this really quickly in the water, and I'll be right back. There we go. I just wanted to get it in a little bit of water, and I didn't have any on my desk because the cat refuses to go for 5 minutes without putting her nose in my water. So, I think it's, yeah, I love their metallic paints too. And then I made my own do-it-yourself watercolor metallic paints, but and I've got the stuff to make some more sets, and I need to do that because I promised a couple of people that I would. I have not forgotten, Deb. I have not forgotten, Mousy Deb. I just haven't done it yet, and I know I need to. So, okay. So I'm just gonna finish this up. Maybe I think we might have time to do some leaves, the other leaves as well. I hope we do. If not, they'll just be leaves, you know. You guys know how to do leaves, right? Most of us are fairly comfortable doing leaves. They don't have to be green. You can do leaves in all sorts of different colors. Well, hi, Coriander. Have you decided to grace us with your presence again? It's decided that you're done being snooty and you're not gonna like try and color the page, or Mom's got it so zoomed in that nobody could see me anyway. So I'll just sit over here and take a nap and snore. Yeah, that's what I'll do. She is such a goofball. She likes potato pancakes, but she doesn't like the applesauce. Ask me how I know. She did, however, tip a full cup of coffee over on my desk on Tuesday. I do believe it was, which was not. It was a cold coffee. Oh, yes. As a matter of fact, Rhonda also does books. And hang on. I have one of Rhonda's books, and I need to. Oops. I actually started a couple. Oh, Coriander. Geez, I turned my back for 1 second. She says, "Well, Mom, you said I could." Where is it? Goodness gracious. Oh, I don't know where it is. Wow. There's Flowers and Flyers. Remember when I did that in Flowers and Flyers? I just found it in my stack. Let's see. I'm looking for Rhonda's book. I have it. Oh, I have it, but I messed up the page. But yes, Rhonda has a couple of flower books that are based upon the photographs that she does. They're wonderful. Oh, I am marker base this. I'm just going to start out with what is this? This is a spring green. So I'm going to put the spring, I'm going to go around the edge. I'm going to leave that part white for right now, because technically this is the top of the page, but because I did those wings, I need to stay away from it. So I'm going to leave that white, but it's going to be underneath. So I'm going around the edge there, and then I am going to grab that dark green again and go around this outer edge a bit, not all the way, because I don't want to I don't want to lose. And I'm just going to leave that white so it looks like light shining on the top of a gemstone. Okay, guys, I had hoped that I was going to make it all the way to 4 o'clock, but I got to pee, man. I'll be right back. Okay. Oh, that's so much nicer. Of course, now my hands are still wet, so from washing them yet again. Anybody else getting dry skin from washing their hands so much? Okay. So that sort of gives a broad overview of some different techniques. Okay, Jill, take care, and we'll see you hopefully sometime during the week in the group and all that kind of good stuff. Yeah, and I am liking the blend on those flowers. So you can do. I've got actually one of the things that Walmart did was they delivered me a bag of somebody else's stuff too, along with what I ordered, and I had let them know that they had done that, and they're basically it's like time is money, so just keep it is what they said. So I have Cornhuskers lotion, and it works great. So I've been using that just because it was free, so I might as well, right? Well, didn't mean to bump the camera there. Anyway, I know Joe Beth is coming on in about 3 minutes, so that's why I'm just sort of dithering here a little bit. I did also, I could certainly show you guys, especially some of you that are new to my channel, some of the things that I've colored that are in addition to the things that I've already showed you, because I happen to have this. These are like pictures that I colored from Fantasy Flower Garden, which was my, I don't know, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books back. Something like that. This one I know came out in when did we release this? 2018. So this is the little mouse with his little snowy ground and his little starry sky and his little jewels. And Cal is alive as well, so I will get off here in just a second. And this is the moonlit mice, with over the moonlit water. We did this one, and Mickey, nobody has to make excuses to go to Cal's. Trust me, I know. I'll go there too. This is another page that we did with the frog and all of that. Anyway, so this is all of that. So I guess that what I should probably do is say thank you to everybody who came today and who watches this afterward. I also want to say a big thank you to those of you who have been supporting your artists, those of you who can through this crisis, because I will tell you that we have been hit as hard as a lot of people. Because we know that coloring books are casual purchases, and that not all of us can make as many casual purchases as we did before this thing started. So I would just want to say thank you on behalf of myself always, but certainly probably the other artists also who appreciate it. So thank you, everybody. And until we meet again, you know what to do, right? You want to go come say bye to people? She says, no, I'm mad at you. Okay. Not you. She's mad at me. Okay. Bye.